because we have seen that him and Chris Byron on Instagram a lot talking. So hopefully Bryce Harper can be our right fielder, and we can get rid of Jason Hayward non-offensive self.
Oh my God, I didn't even know he was still on the team. I don't know what happened. What happened to that guy? Is he just
it's all about his hitting mechanics.
Yeah,
like when he was with the Cardinals, he was a line drive hitter. He was a double guy, triple guy. Every time he come up, double or triple. He was never really a home run guy except for when he was on the Atlanta Braves. But that started to change, and his hitting started to change. But he was still getting on base, like 350 on base percentage, 280 batting average, 290 average. But as soon as he got on the Cubs, he started to change his hitting mechanics, and he turned to a pump on the offense, like a ground ball every time, a pop out every time. I don't know what's going on, but I know I'd love to have $187 million just to play defense in the outfield. Like, the Cubs is not really going to use Jason Hayward in this series. You're going to see more of Albert Almora Jr. because it's three lefties that the Dodgers have, and he's really not going to get his money worth except for beyond the seventh inning when he come in for defense. So I don't know what's going on with Jason Hayward. We need to trade him. Something needs to happen.
Yeah, that just didn't work out, and that sucks for him. But it sucks for the Cubs too, having to figure out what they're going to do. Yeah, he batted .259 this year with 11 homers. That's not good enough based on the money. All right, so here's the $1 million question: who's going to be in the World Series?
I'm trying to put away the bias and be with the Cubs.
It's hard
right now, but I do feel like the Cubs have a chance to beat the Dodgers. If we was talking about any other team, it would have been the Dodgers. And it's not because I'm a Cubs fan, but the Cubs, if you've really been watching them for the past 2 years, they just faced adversity. After the 2015 season when they got swept by the Mets, it's been nothing but golden plays, golden games for the Cubs. You got to think about the last game with the Nationals, down 4-1. Anybody could have just kept their heads down. The Cubs kept on fighting. You got to think about last season when the Cubs were facing the Dodgers. They was 2-1 in the NLCS. They couldn't hit a ball. They was cold. I didn't know how they was going to get out the series, but they came back and won. You got to think about the Indians down 3-1 and coming back with that series. The Cubs face adversity. I feel like they're the only team that could beat the Dodgers team right now. And plus, Corey Seager is out, and they really don't have much to worry about, those hitters. And I feel like the Cubs bullpen is going to come alive. The Cubs offense is going to come alive. And the Dodgers starting pitching is really not pitching that well in the postseason. They have great hitters. They're going to hit the balls, but the starting pitcher is not good. The Dodgers starting pitcher did not go over 7 innings and not won those games against the Arizona Diamondbacks. So that's a key thing like that. And the Cubs like to push the pitchers out. But I have the Cubs making it to the World Series versus the Houston Astros, something that everybody wants to see. And I have the Cubs winning in 6 games. And I have the Astros winning in 5 games.
Okay. All right. Here's my prediction. I'm going with the Astros. I'm going to stick with the Texas squads. Don't hate me. Don't hate me, everybody out there, but I'm going with the Dodgers. I think we're going to see Astros, Dodgers. The Cubs, if Kershaw's on, if Yu Darvish, who's a top pitcher, Rich Hill, they have the pitching. It's just a matter of will they show up? And that's the biggest question in any playoffs anyway. But I'm going Dodgers and Astros. If I'm wrong, I'll let everybody know on the air I was wrong. But that's my prediction. I think we've got a great 2 playoff series that are going to be going down. Once again, we're talking with Jonathan J. Bates, sports writer for The Inquisitr, also NBA reporter, writer for SB Nation, covering Oklahoma City Thunder for the SB Nation. Real quick, I want to change gears here. Give me your OKC preview with these 3 monsters on this squad, real quick.
I like OKC right now. In the training camp, they're definitely optimistic. Nobody knew that they was going to get Paul George and Carmelo Anthony without giving up a first-round pick at all. That's something amazing. But I feel like the Oklahoma City Thunder, they have a chance to be a number 2 seed in the West, and they have a chance to be competing with the Golden State Warriors. However, Warriors will still make it to the finals. But The Thunder is the only team in the NBA who can force the Warriors to 6 or 7 games out the West. The Houston Rockets cannot do it because Chris Paul never been there. He's only one person. He's only a point guard that's 6 foot, and he's overrated. And their bench, they lost half of their bench just to get Chris Paul. They still have Eric Gordon, but that's not enough. On the Spurs, they injured. But the Thunder, they have a great chance to be good, but it could go the opposite way because Billy Donovan, he's not an offensive-minded coach. The Thunder, they need a coach who can put up great offensive teams. So they need somebody who's going to go out there and make great plays for the Oklahoma City Thunder. In the preseason, they were somewhat good, but what I've seen in the preseason is them taking turns on the offensive end, and it's going to be a little bit of problem like we've seen with the Warriors when they had KD. But they're going to figure it out somewhere around the All-Star game. They're still going to be good. Russell Westbrook, he has to put away some of his game that we seen last year. He cannot be that dominant, that ball dominant, because all three of these players is ball dominant, and they was actually all three of them was in the top 10 in ISO ball. So they have to get rid of the ISO ball, and they have to start sharing the ball, and they have to move without the ball. Playing off ball in this new modern day, the NBA, is key. Is real key. So Carmelo Anthony, he had to move without the ball. Paul George, he had to move without the ball. And Russell Westbrook don't have the ball in his hand. He has to move off ball, which he know how to do. But all three of those players don't mean anything. It's all about Steven Adams with his presence as a center. It's all about Andre Roberson making that three, because players tend to love to leave Roberson open for that three, and he's going to miss it 50% of the time, probably even 70% of the time. But other than the starting lineup, the second unit has to show up. At least one of those three players that the Thunder have as a superstar will always be on the court at all times to help out the bench. So it's all about just executing for the Thunder, and they're going to be real good. Melo is going to be good, but I think Melo will be the person to take the backseat, and they have to figure out who's going to take the last shot with 3 seconds left.
Yeah, that's probably one of the biggest things there is who's going to take the last shot. And I mean, that's going to be for them to figure it out. And maybe whoever's open, maybe they come into the season with that mentality, who's ever open, take the shot, because you've got some shooters. All three of those guys can shoot. So the dynamic is probably the most interesting part. But I can't wait. NBA season starts Tuesday, and it's going to be fun to watch. So, man, Jay, appreciate you for coming on the show. As always, man, your sports knowledge is unmatched. We got a question. My question with OKC, will these guys be able to play together? Can they be unselfish enough? That's a question from the chat room.
Oh yeah, most definitely. When I think about this starting team, I'm thinking about these players playing with each other in the Olympics. And that's one reason why Carmelo Anthony is a great player. People say Carmelo Anthony is going to hold the ball too long, but no, when you think about Carmelo Anthony on another teams with stars, because we haven't even seen it yet in his NBA career, you have to think about the Olympic Melo. In the Olympics, he played with a lot of stars, and you have to think about what Melo is doing. And Melo is always thriving in the Olympics, and that's because he's playing with different stars. He's playing with different leaders. He's playing with other players that can tell him not to do that or to do that, even though he's probably the oldest player on the team. Melo needs that other player to tell him, no, let's do this, let's do that. But this team is definitely going to be unselfish with Russell Westbrook there. I feel like all three of these guys can average 4+ assists or 5+ assists in a game. So they have some great passing ability, but this team is definitely not going to be selfish. They're going to be one of the top 5 teams in the West that distribute the ball if Billy Donovan can install that into the playbook.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so definitely going to be a great NBA season. Can't wait to watch it. Once again, go follow Jonathan J. Bates on Twitter, Jonathan J. Bates, and check out his articles. He's always posting them. I'll be sharing them. So, man, appreciate you again for coming on.
Yeah. Last thing before I leave, for the NBA fans, Derrick Rose, most improved player of the league this season.
Oh man, it's crazy you mentioned that, because I just said that earlier. Like, if he wants that double, if he wants to get paid double, he's gonna have to win most improved player of the year. But I think he's in a prime situation to do it. So
Definitely.
see.
That's a different story for a different day when I'm on your show again. But thank you for having me. Like I said, always, you got one of the best sports shows out here.
Yeah, man, appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. Have a good one.
All right, you too.
All right. That was Jonathan J. Bates. Man, love his sports knowledge. Love getting him on the show. Courtney Harden, welcome back. Courtney Harden jumped back into the chat room. I want to give an appreciation right now to Mocha Bella and Big L, who's been riding with me this whole show. Everybody else also, but Mocha Bella and Big L have been riding. They've been going back and forth at each other. Much appreciated. So as we get ready to conclude the show, Mocha Bella says, Courtney Garden says, good point on Melo. Carmelo not in NY anymore, so I think he will be good. I think he's around good quality stars that he does not have to pull all the weight. And that was a good point by Jay. Will he go back to his Olympic days when he has opportunities to pass the ball, that he doesn't have to feel like he has to do anything, where he can be just a scorer, and that's it. That's all he has to do. He doesn't need to facilitate. He doesn't need to try to figure out how he's going to score 40 points a night. He doesn't have to do that anymore. So it's going to be interesting. As I conclude the show, let's go down the scores going on right now, college football. So TCU 13-3 over Kansas State. Wisconsin 17-3 over Purdue. Auburn 20-7 over LSU. LSU is not the same team anymore. They're one of the lesser teams in the SEC. The big game that Mocha and Big L are chatting about in the chat room, Georgia Tech versus Miami. Georgia Tech is up 14-6. Also, Miami does have the ball. They're at 4th and 3, so they actually just punted. So Georgia Tech now has the ball. The one I'm most surprised about right now, Oklahoma is beating Texas 20-0. If they don't turn it around in the second half, which it looks like they're on the 20, they may possibly have opportunity to score. Oklahoma State 21-10 over Baylor. Navy 10-7 over Memphis. Michigan squeaked a win 27-20 over Indiana. NC State 35-17 over Pittsburgh. I mentioned this earlier, but upset alert. West Virginia beats Texas Tech. Texas Tech was 24. So remaining games for today, Alabama plays Arkansas. Alabama has not been playing anybody. So I'm so sick and tired of Nick Saban in his mouth. I know his comment's going to be, well, you just play who's ever on the schedule. Yeah, but you have a say-so in who you play. Don't give me that remark. So anyway, they beat Florida State at the beginning of the season. Their next, listen to this, their next ranked opponent is Auburn at number 10, the last remaining game of the season. So that means they have played 10 games straight will be against unranked teams. They have a shoe-in to the SEC championship game, unless if they lose to Auburn. So I'm really not paying attention to Alabama until the SEC championship game, unless they somehow get upset. Michigan plays number 4 Georgia. Ohio State plays Nebraska. South Florida, Charlie Strong stand up. 18, ranked 18th. They play Cincinnati. USC, Utah. Michigan State, Minnesota. I know Vince Wright will be watching that one. So we got some great remaining games. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Mocha Bella says, Charlie Strong wasn't the problem at Texas, huh? I agree. They have